Well, would you look at that? The revolution lasted about as long as a TikTok trend. Last week, there was confetti in the air, everybody was chanting, "Workers of the world unite," and now it's like it never happened. Apparently, medieval capitalism got its butt kicked for about 48 hours before clocking right back in on Monday. You had these New York socialists out there celebrating like they just overthrew Wall Street, quoting Twitch streamers as if that's a political strategy. Systemic racism, systemic poverty, down with inequality. Yeah, I've heard it all before. Turns out, utopia's great until rent's due. But hey, at least Hasanabi finally got his prophecy fulfilled. For a whole weekend. Anyway, back to reality, where the only thing that got overthrown was common sense.
I no longer have to prove that this kind of politics works. I can just point the f***ing Zoran. I no longer have to prove that this kind of politics works. I can just point the f***ing Zoran. I no longer have to prove that this kind of politics works. I can just point the f***ing Zoran. I know.
Well, that didn't take long. From "Hallelujah, comrades, the socialist revolution is here," to "Uh-oh, reality check." Spoiler alert, there is no socialist revolution. You all got played by yet another democratic socialist who promised free ponies and sunshine for everyone. And shocker, couldn't deliver a damn thing. And you know what's funny? They always know they can't deliver it. But like every good socialist, they lie, they overpromise, and they ride that cloud of hope straight into office. Then, surprise, they stab their voters in the back the second they get that fancy title on the door. And it's already happening. The so-called revolution in New York City? DOA. Kathy Hochul and the National Democrats are about as likely to help old Mayor Mum-Donnie as they are to balance a budget. They're not playing nice, they're sharpening knives. Working overtime to make sure this guy's a one-term puppet. And the sabotage? Already rolling. So buckle up, folks. Let's roll the tape. And oh, Kyle Kulinski, bless his heart, he was leading the cheer squad. Woke is back. MAGA is seething. Yeah, no, Kyle. We're not seething. We're laughing. So apparently MAGA got BTFO'd by Mayor Mum-Donnie, huh? Yeah, okay, champ. First of all, we don't care. New York City's your sandbox. Go ahead and build your little socialist castle out of taxpayer tears. You want to run your city straight into the ground? Be my guest. No Republican's gonna stop you. Nobody's seething, nobody's mad. We're just sitting here with popcorn watching the slow-motion train wreck. Because let's be honest, everyone can see the writing on the wall. This is gonna be a disaster before the year's out. But bless Kyle Kulinski's heart, he's out there doing a whole victory parade, posting memes that are aging like gas station sushi. My favorite one? A crying MAGA girl under the desk. And so apparently MAGA got BTFO'd by Mayor Mum-Donnie, huh? Yeah, okay, champ. First of all, and in swoops Mayor Mum-Donnie yelling free buses. Yeah, about that. Might want to hold your horses, little Kylie boy, because right on cue, in comes the Democrat governor of New York saying no free bus. Guess the revolution ran out of tokens.
I just want to set the stage that, you look at the history of people who've run multi-million-dollar ad campaigns to try and get me to change my position. I don't change my position. So I just want to put it out there. I respect people's opinions. I respect the proper place to convey them. And so I've said to people, I hear you. And that was important. But also, there's a time and place.
Oh, wow. Color me shocked and surprised. Actually, scratch that. I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised. I've been saying this since day frickin' one. Mayor Mum-Donnie was always gonna get kneecapped at every single turn. The guy promised the moon, the stars, and free bus rides for everybody. But forgot one tiny little detail. He doesn't actually have the power to do any of it. He's the mayor, not the governor. And yeah, New York City's big, but it's still just a piece on the board. And he's the pawn. The puppet. The pretty face they trot out while the real money and power stay parked up in Albany. The governor's the one with the pen, kid. You're just holding the clipboard. You can chant your little slogans all you want, but at the end of the day, you're acting. And that's all this guy's been doing. A Broadway performance in a socialist costume. He's out there talking like Oprah with someone else's checkbook. You get higher taxes. You get higher taxes. Oh, sure, he's gonna match New Jersey's tax rates. Yeah, good luck with that, pal. The mayor doesn't get to set state taxes. That's a state legislature and governor job. You can't just wave a magic wand from City Hall and turn into Trenton. And even if he tried, Kathy Hochul's already said, loud and clear, she's not signing on to that fantasy. So, congratulations, Mum-Donnie. Your revolution's dead before opening night.
Will not support that agenda.
We know that Mum-Donnie does want to tax the rich more, bring it up about 2%. He can't do that on his own. You've previously said that you wouldn't be raising taxes. Have you reconsidered that stance?
No, I would say one energetic rally does not get me to change my positions, I assure you. But I do hear people's voices. I process what everybody says, but I'm also have to balance governing this state and making sure that those people who are actually the reason we have a generous, supportive budget that helps lift people up, it's their revenues that we tax. 1.5% of New Yorkers cover about a third of our budget. That's enormous. I'm concerned about outmigration of people who are the ones who are supporting our budget. I cannot make up for that with middle-class tax increases. I cannot do that to the middle class and the struggling New Yorkers. So this is the balance. I mean, this is my position.
All right, let's wrap this up because this whole socialist revolution fairy tale is officially over. All you bowl-cut revolutionaries with your septum rings thinking you just voted in Che Guevara 2.0 in New York City, you didn't. You didn't spark a revolution. You got played. You bought snake oil from another smooth-talking socialist salesman, and surprise, you got a clown instead of a champion. The math behind his policies never made sense, and thank God you're being saved from your own electoral stupidity. Because if this guy actually got his way, you'd be broker than ever and wondering why free stuff suddenly costs double. There's no such thing as government magically lowering your cost of living, especially not in New York freaking City. The reason it's expensive isn't because of evil billionaires, it's because it's the most in-demand city on Earth. It's the Big Apple, not the dollar menu. If you can't afford it, move to Jersey, pal. That's called reality, not oppression. Basic supply and demand. It's not capitalism's fault you thought TikTok socialism was going to pay your rent. And now this guy's promising the same tired garbage we've heard for decades. Free this, free that, revolutionary policy. Yeah, revolutionary, my foot. It's the same failed nonsense that's been tanking cities for years. Look at the last decade of woke policy disasters. Every one of them turned their cities into expensive, unsafe, virtue-signaling messes. New York was already trending right because of this garbage, but apparently some people like touching the stove twice. So now you've got a guy with zero experience, filling his cabinet with token hires for diversity points, doing his best Justin Trudeau impression, and we all saw how that turned out. Canada's broke, people can't buy homes, and the economy's on life support. So yeah, copy that playbook. What could possibly go wrong? Here's the reality. To govern, you need support, experience, and a working brain for economics. And this guy's batting 0 for 3. You can't fund utopia by taxing success and scaring away the people who actually pay the bills. Drive out the productive class, drain the tax base, and boom, congratulations, you've just created Detroit 2.0 with skyscrapers. And then what's he do? Goes after one of the city's biggest revenue sources, public transit, by trying to make it free. Yeah, genius idea. Who needs money when you can just run the subway on feelings? Bottom line, this guy's going to be a one-term joke. The Democrats don't even want him. He's a brand liability. They're already plotting his political funeral before the revolution even got its first chant off the ground. So mark my words, give it time. By the end of his term, New Yorkers will be begging for an adult to run the city again. Anyway, that's all I got for you folks. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video, drop a comment if you enjoyed watching this socialist circus crash and burn. And of course, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next episode of I Told You So.